And we watch these two players play. Donegan is 6-1, as is Vook. And Donegan currently up a game. As we turn our attention to this match, you see Dylan does have a Nile Spellbomb on the battlefield, along with the Blood Crypt, a Watery Grave, and a basic Beta Island. For Matthew Vook, he's got a Watery Grave, a Blood Crypt, and an Amonkhet basic island.
And this matchup is always so interesting for us. There's a lot of decisions that get made. There's things like these spell bombs, which are one-time use, and you really have to value them correctly.
Yeah, because a lot of the time you want to be able to get your card from it.
You really want to be able to get the card, but you also really want to eat your opponent's graveyard at the right time. And I'm actually surprised that each of these graveyards are as big as they are.
Yeah, me too. Because both players generally do have Nile Spellbomb after sideboard to kind of contain the other player's graveyard, draw their card, slow down Tasigur and Gurmag Angler. The cycle is on the stack right now from Street Wraith, and Dylan may respond to it by activating his Spellbomb, not getting to draw a card, but taking care of the graveyard. And you can see Vook is kind of ready for that to happen. Donegan, a former invitational champion, won in Seattle a couple of years ago. That qualified him for the Players' Championship, where he made a pretty healthy run there.
What does he have? He has an elemental token?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. See Dylan weighing a lot of the consequences on letting this happen. Don't know if he's seen his hand yet or not this game, because we don't have a good look at Dylan's graveyard, but it wouldn't surprise me that he has an idea of what the contents are.
Sure.
In Vook's hand, and that's kind of influencing his decision.
Yeah, and every card is so important in this type of matchup. So not drawing the card off of the Spellbomb could be huge in a couple of turns. But also, after Vook resolves this card draw,
which he will resolve now.
If you didn't eat his graveyard, you could just be kicking yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the cards that Dylan has in his hand is a copy of Liliana of the Veil. And I don't know if we're going to see that this turn or not, but we're going to head back over to Dylan now. He's going to play a Polluted Delta. And he's going to go right for it.
Great in this matchup.
Yep. This is a card that when we were at an Invitational during Season 1, to conclude Season 1, Daniel Fournier had this card in his Death Shadow deck where Todd Anderson did not, and that really made all the difference, as it played a huge role in their games. Yeah,
the Death Shadow decks rarely deploy more than one threat a turn, so being able to pick off these threats that are just so important, huge.
And then just be able to go after their hand, and you top deck another threat, well, I have an answer already on the battlefield.
Yep.
It's weird that we are praising Liliana of the Veil. It's been a modern staple the whole time.
Well,
it's been around.
Yeah, well, it cycles in and out of being super relevant, right? I mean, if you're playing against these Collected Company decks, the Liliana of the Veil is not one of the better cards in the matchup. They usually have some stinker, leftover creature just gumming up the board. But in matchups where they play one super significant creature each turn, it's an all-star.
Yeah, it's like the best thing going on. Donegan's going to take up Liliana. Vook is going to discard a Terminate. Dylan discarded a Stubborn Denial, and now he's going to play a Tasigur. And he'll have to delve away the graveyard, obviously.
Pretty good turn.
Yeah. But he used all of his mana this turn, which leaves him relieved that, that Nile Spellbomb that he activated, he may not have had the opportunity to draw a card off it this turn either.
Yep.
Now, Vook does have a Snapcaster Mage in hand. I think he's got another Terminate over there, too. And Dylan will delve away a bunch of cards. And now there is Snapcaster Mage. Quick untap. Quick Terminate. And this allows Vook to start putting pressure on Liliana, which is important for him because he needs to get that thing off the battlefield.
Yep.
Donegan will draw. Looks like he picked up a copy of Death Shadow. Now, it's not the biggest Death Shadow we've ever seen. It's just a 2/2.
Still good here.
Yep.
It gives him the option of keeping Liliana on the board. He can uptick it, just further stressing his opponent's hand.
And I think that's what we're going to see him do. It's going to go up to 3. Vook will discard a Stubborn Denial. We're going to head back over to Matthew. He'll draw.
And I think Matthew desperately just wants another land here so that he can play the other Snapcaster Mage with the Terminate.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Obviously, he didn't get it.
So he's coming on in with this Snapcaster Mage after the Liliana.
And I like the block. I think Liliana is just super important here.
Well, Liliana's going to be even better now. At least it looks like it on the surface.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we're being fooled.
Ooh, Snapcaster Mage was a good draw. First time I've ever said that, by the way. First time I've ever said Snapcaster Mage was a good draw.
The back and forth in this game is really fun.
Well, you know what they say. All we do is show Death Shadow.
Just all these super efficient plays.
I hate how back and forth and fun this game is. Boo!
Hey, you take it easy.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Gurmag English here.
It is here.
Big fish. Big fish.
Real big fish.
It's a great band.
Cue the horns.
I would love to. Gonna delve away a few more cards, but now
Man, every turn I think this Liliana is just gonna take over the game.
Nope. Nope. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now I think Vook only has one card left. Yep. So Dylan gets to get the last card, and if he feels like a Terminate, he's in the driver's seat.
Well, even if he doesn't, he can chump block for a turn and then use Liliana to take out the Gurmag the next turn. He's still working with 4 mana to his opponent's 3,
yep,
which is huge when you're playing Snapcaster Mages.
Didn't get a great look at what Dylan drew, but it must have been something relevant because he's starting to think about it.
Yeah, and Dylan is often one of our more deliberate players here.
This is true. This is true. I just want to know what that card is now.
Yeah. Ooh.
Liliana the last.
That's so funny.
That card's really good in the mirror, too. Don't want to discard that one. Jeez. Jeez. That is annoying. Wow.
This is.
Yeah. I think it's the better Liliana now.
That is such a tough decision there.
And you tick down 1 and 2. Geez, those are good cards. Kolaghan's Man, a Young Pyromancer. You get back Tasigur. You delve a bunch of cards away, but you gotta wonder what's in Vook's hand right now.
I don't know if I like leaving the Serum Visions behind.
You want to get rid of it?
Well, when you're activating Tasigur, they just always give you the Serum Visions, right?
I think a decent amount of the time. I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy if I top decked a Serum Visions right now.
It's fine. There's definitely times when you just want a better card.
Sure. Let's see what the follow-up is here. Ugh.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Jeez, this is after his huge graveyard got eaten by a spell bomb.
Yeah, this got hard.
Oh man.
Because the plan was the plan was to plus Liliana, give Angler -2/-1, which means it can't attack through Tasigur. And that plan's gone now.
Yep.
Well, one good top deck deserves another.
Yeah, the back and forth this game is just insane.
I hope Dylan draws like a Liliana of the Veil now. We have to play Liliana dance. Vook's just trying to decide what cards he wants to delve away. All right. We are good. Draw a card. Didn't get a good look. Got to plus the Lily. Yep. Slow that one down. And I think he might be passing. Yep. Over to Vook. Thoughtseize.
Yeah, that makes for a very safe attack.
Ew. Death Shadow.
Yeah, and Dylan's saying I'd rather activate my Tasigur than deploy this Death Shadow.
Yeah, that's a little interesting to me, I think, right?
Well, I understand the decision. It's super mana efficient.
Okay.
Here today, please make sure that you have your keys.
But I don't think it panned out very well for him.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he plays the Death Shadow, he has the option of double blocking an Angler.
That's what I kind of like, is the option to double block the angler. Got 2 Serum Visions, 2 Death Shadows, and looks like a Snapcaster Mage down there. He's going to give him a Death Shadow back.
Huh.
Well, if he wasn't willing to cast Death Shadow, you kind of just want to give it to him, right?
Sure. You put him in the same spot next turn.
It's a little surprised he wasn't willing to cast Death Shadow, though. So there's a Swamp Pass, draw. I like that draw step.
Yeah. That's good on a couple of levels.
Yeah.
It deals him a bunch of damage, which makes the Death Shadow bigger. And it leaves him with 4 mana up after he deploys the Shadow, so he can still activate Tassiger.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I kind of want to sack the land now. Yeah, I like doing this now because you're going to do it anyway. So there's not really a reason to get cute. And something could happen that you don't really realize, that you may not think of.
Potentially Lightning Bolt if that's in your opponent's deck.
Yeah, there's something weird could happen. So and you're already going to do this anyway, so you might as well just get it out of the way.
Sure.
Uh-oh, Vook has got to put the brakes on. Donegan going to activate Tassiger.
Yeah, that's super awkward for him.
Sleight of hand, Serum Visions. To go along with a couple more copies of Serum Visions, another Death Shadow down there. Yeah, he's going to give him a sleight of hand. Thoughtseize was the draw.
The late game Thoughtseize when you're already at 8 life, always interesting.
Yeah, tied up at 8, and you almost have to assume that Vook has nothing in hand, so you don't want to fire off the Thoughtseize. You can just save it for a later spot. Vook has got to pass again, so now Tassiger is starting to take over, and this just kind of it takes you back to that turn where Dylan had to think about what he wanted to do with that Liliana's the Last Hope, and the Liliana of the Veil, and how to navigate.
Yeah, he decided to rebuy the Tassiger.
Yeah.
And it's looking great now.
Let's put a huge priority on that card. Thought Scour. Going to turn over 2 cards, draw a card. It's a Polluted Delta. Really good back and forth game here. Yep, there's the Delta, which can grow the Death Shadow. Dylan's still just going to pass the turn back. He is really just trying to grind him down now. Not that there are really good attacks that he could make.
No, this is awkward for both players. Definitely awkward for both players.
Here's Thoughtseize. A Fatal Push, a Sleight of Hand, and a Thoughtseize. Vook's going to fall down to 6 for casting that, and he takes a Sleight of Hand. Dylan going to take at least 1. Don't know if it would be more than that or not. If he falls down to 7.
Yeah, he might be out of untapped lands.
He's going to fall down to 5.
Yeah, I meant basic lands. So he's got to take the damage if he wants to activate Tassiger. We'll see what this flips over here.
Another Sleight of Hand.
Yeah, Thought Scour is even better to give the opponent, right?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Okay, he did give him Thought Scour.
Yep.
Okay. Another Tasker activation. Dylan's going nuts here. Another the Death Shadow now. But he's going to give him another Thought Scour. Dylan's going to target himself. Kind of trying to figure out what the plan is here. Another Thought Scour. I mean, things get really bad here if Vook just draws like a Fatal Push.
Yeah.
Like really bad. Well, he's just dead bad.
And it's interesting. I think Dylan could have made his Death Shadow big enough this turn. I thought he drew a fetch land. But it's very possible he's out of shock lands to go tutor up. But if he wasn't, he could have made the Death Shadow big enough to just fight right through 2 Gurmag Anglers.
Sure. Yeah, if Matthew draws a removal spell, Terminate,
Fatal Push.
Snapcaster for the Terminate in his graveyard, he just wins right now. So this is a pretty big draw step. Started looking at the graveyard.
Oh.
Yeah, you just drew push. Yeah. Kill that. Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Matthew Vook's going to win game number 2 here over Dylan Donegan. Grixis Death Shadowmere is going to game number 3. I'm trying to figure out what Dylan was trying to do there.
Well, that last turn, I think that was the turn where he needed to attack. He could have even cast the Thoughtseize in his hand to deal himself 2 more damage.
Yeah. That was just weird because he activated Tasker on his main phase 2, and he's only going to be given back like these Serum Visions, Thought Scour-esque effects.
Yep.
And Thought Scour is pretty bad then because it's only making Tasker worse, and every time you cast a Thought Scour, they're just going to give you back Thought Scour.
Sure.
So I don't know what he was looking for or searching for. That was strange.
Yeah, it was different from all of his other plays previous to that. So it seems like he made a decision. He had a line in play. He's like, oh, if I draw this, if I do this, I can potentially win this turn.
Yeah.
But then he didn't hit what he thought he might, and he backed out of his plan. And I like I said, I think it was important for him to just go to 3 or 2 that turn and get in there with that Death Shadow.
Yeah, it's just, it's weird because when it felt like he was so far ahead with the Tasker,
yeah.
I think putting an onus on Tasker activations to just get cards back when you're both top decking means you're drawing 2 cards a turn to their 1, no matter like if the card is Sleight of Hand or Serum Visions, whatever, like you're just seeing more cards than your opponent then, and then to just lose to a top deck Fatal Push just feels off.
Yeah, it was either 2 things. He either needed to get to attacking, or he needed to be a little more careful with his life total so that he wasn't just dead to a 5-point attack.
Yeah,
you know, if he had stayed at 6 or 7 life.
Yep. Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. You see Vook's going to go back to the drawing board here a little bit. Dylan is not. Dylan does not look happy that he lost that game. And understandably so, because it did feel like he was pretty far ahead. And now these players don't have a ton of time to play game number 3. So we'll see how things shake out here in just a sec.
Yeah, I'd say there were about 4 different points where if you asked me who was going to win this game, I would have picked Dylan almost every single time.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
We step into him deploying a powerful Planeswalker for the matchup on an empty board, and it's like, wow, this is good for him. But Vook did a really nice job of it. Zero panic, just used all of his resources, drew some pretty fortunate cards, and managed to squeak out a win in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew just kept playing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, where he was so far behind there with the Tasker, but he just kept playing. So that's a credit to him, that's for sure. SCG Newsletter real quick here, folks. As they will get ready here for game number 3. It's your source for Magic the Gathering news. We'll have some highlights from some of our very best articles. Upcoming SCG Tour dates and locations, along with SCG IQs and game nights near you. And exclusive cardboard crack comic. Sign up for free, of course, and you're already on the internet, so you might as well. Go to StarCityGames.com/newsletters where you can sign up, as both these players will take a look at their opening hand here, see if they can find 7-card hands that they like. And Dylan is already sending his back to the drawing board. So when it rains, it pours sometimes. You can tell. Look at his face. He's not too happy, but he is oftentimes smiling as he is here. The 20-year-old from Cary, North Carolina, with 8 open top 8s and open win. Actually won the last time we were here in Richmond, so he's looking to go back-to-back Richmond Open wins. Invitational top 8 in Seattle a couple of years ago, where he got the W and qualified for the Players' Championship. He's our youngest invitational champion, studying criminal justice at East Carolina University, and he loves himself some drums, does Dylan Donegan. See if he can bounce back from a pretty tough Game 2 loss here. Taking a look at 6 cards. Dylan will scry.
And I think both these players understand that this match can be pretty grindy, so they got to keep the pace up for this last game.
Thoughtseize is going to show a hand here of Nile Spellbomb, Gurmag Angler, Liliana the Veil lands. Most of them fetches, which means that Death Shadow is going to be online pretty quick here.
Yeah, I would guess that it's just Liliana the Veil here.
I think Liliana's too good in the mirror not to take.
Yeah. Especially, Dylan's already down a card. He's on the play instead of the draw, so he's down a card, and he mulliganed one.
Yep. So it feels like he's basically down 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he's got to get rid of, you know, high card advantage cards like Liliana out of his opponent's hand.
Bloodstained Mire will be sacrificed here from Vook. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Water Grave. That's where most Death Shadow players start. There is your blue-black Ravnica duel. And maybe we'll see the Nile Spellbomb. And we do. Over to Donegan we go. He'll sacrifice a Scalding Tarn right away. He'll play a Thought Scour targeting himself. And will we see Vook respond to the Thought Scour? That's my question. Oh, that answers that. Draw a card. There's Tassiger.
And that's one of those, you know, your opponent's already mulliganed. He has very few cards that he's working with over there. Do I really want to just blow up this spell bomb for 2 cards in his graveyard and not be able to draw off of it?
Yeah, I don't. That's hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because he's going to be able to reassemble the next turn, probably, you know?
Yes.
To cast Tassiger.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You know, you do it in response to the Thought Scour. He ends up with 3 cards in his graveyard after he's done with it. And the next turn, playing a Tassiger is pretty easy still.
Here's an attack for 4. The thing about Vook's hand, though, is it's not particularly good, as Dylan's going to sacrifice Polluted Delta.
Well, that's also another argument for not sacrificing the spell bomb right away.
It's because he just needs another card.
He might feel like he just needs another card. You know, if the Tassiger's coming this turn or the next turn, you need an answer to the Tassiger, not to just delay it a turn.
Well, things are getting more difficult now. He's going to blow up the spell bomb. Liliana the Last Hope is here. Vook will draw a card. Picked up a copy of Fatal Push. Wrong removal spell for the wrong creature. Good later, not great now. That hand appears to have a lot of lands, folks.
Yeah.
Vook is going to sack a land. I think we might see Gurmag Angler here in just a second. Kind of want to get a basic because he's already kind of low.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a point where he needs to start being careful with his life total.
I hope the basics aren't all in hand. It'd be a little awkward.
Well,
there we go.
Yeah, it looked like he flew by a swamp in his hand.
Okay.
So, you know, he's just confirming, yep, swamp's in my hand, I got to get the island.
Big fish. And pass with push-up. Plus a Liana, most likely here for Dylan. Yeah, I got to make Gurmag Angler into a smaller fish, which allows Tassiger to come in.
It's still a medium-sized fish.
Yeah, 3-4 right now. Terminate the draw, timely. Going to fall down to 3, not great. Terminate. Yep. Yep. Dylan's hand not great right now. 2 pushes and a Snapcaster Mage.
He's wondering what he wants to do with this Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, because he kind of wants to protect Liliana.
He does, but his opponent's at 3. He kind of wants to attack his opponent.
Yeah, but can he realistically think that Snapcaster Mage is good right now? Oh, well, this is awkward. It's like, well, you've shown it, so.
Yeah, once it's on the board.
You kind of want to, well, you know, he didn't tap mana, but it's like, well, you've shown it.
Sure.
You know, so it's nowhere near as good now.
And now it's the question if Vook lets him block with it.
Should fall down to 2, not 1. -2, -1 on Liliana, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be 2 counters on the Lily. And Dylan is going the attacking route.
I think you I don't want to fall to 1. I think you got to push.
I think you have to push as well. There also might just not be a better spot to push.
Yeah, he's going to fall down to 1. I'm surprised by that. Liliana's going to go down.
Yep. Tassiger's coming back.
Okay. Castable. Yep, for 3 mana. Yeah, I'm so surprised he didn't do that right away.
Well, I thought he was going to do it on his own turn when he attacked.
Sure, so he could just get after Liliana and knock it down?
Yes.
Sure, sure.
And well, he gave Dylan the option.
Yeah.
You want to block? Okay. You don't want to block? Okay. Like, you know, you get to choose to do what's best for you. You just push right there. You take the option away from him.
Bloodstained Mire is going to knock Dylan down to 11.
And being at 3 means you still have access to Thoughtseize if you really need it. You still have access to some fetch lands if you need them.
And you also have access to a real big one of those.
Sure, but this is the same thing, but from the other side.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you can't really think that this is good, can you?
Yeah, yeah. With how this game is played, you would be shocked if this Death Shadow lived or if it was good. But, you know, at the same time, maybe Matthew Vook has a stubborn denial. Who knows? Liliana the Veil, the draw.
This could be game over right here.
Yeah, part of the reason that maybe some of the sloppiness here too from both sides is because of the clock.
Oh yeah,
they want to finish.
They're trying to play as fast as possible.
Yeah, because Dylan just thought about playing Liliana and push and saying, I'm going to try to kill you, and then he slowed way up. So here's a Nile Spellbomb activation. He'll sack it, pay the black to draw a card. That's dead. No surprise there. What's their follow-up? Kolaghan's command. Get it back, recast it. Okay. Yeah. All right, push that one. Quick untap here from Dylan. That is Liliana the Veil with Stubborn Denial at the ready. Make you sacrifice, attack for the win. That is going to do it. Dylan Donegan's going to win this match here over Matthew Vook just in the nick of time. The Grixis Death Shadow Mirror goes to the player on the left from Cary, North Carolina. And while he might not be thrilled with how he played game number 2, he was able to win game number 3, which means he wins the match.